Hi, I'm Jerry with Heart and Hand Creations. And if you've been following me for the past couple of months, you know that I'm prepping for a vendor market that is going to be held in November. I feel like it's not too early to start, y'all. So I have created a series of those prep videos, and I'll link those down below. But I came up with this idea that I wanted to do, and that is to create something that I could give to the children that are attending the market with their adult. And I know I got kind of lost in I didn't want it to be complex, and I didn't want it to be expensive, those kinds of things. And I know we've all been there. No matter what business or what craft you have, we have these wonderful ideas to give back to the community and promote our small business, but it can be a little overwhelming when you got life going on. So I wanted to create something special and personal for these little people. But you also need it to be heartfelt and affordable. So how was I going to do that? I wanted to make an impact and share a little piece of what I did without getting lost and all that. What I'm going to show you today is my collection of the DIY goodies that I've made and turn them into a beautiful custom packaged goodie bag that will have one in my community feeling in the holiday spirit. Well, in my case, it'll be the holiday. Okay, so let's go over my DIY items that I'm going to be including in the gift bag I want to give out to the children. First, I went into Canva and I found some images that I was able to put together, and I've made some coloring sheets. So I've got 3 coloring sheets. So that's part of my goodie bag is that. Then I received a pattern for a bookmark. This is a bookmark that fits on the corner of a page for children. I received it as a freebie from another crafter, and I was able to receive this and upload it into my Cricut. So I'm going to include that. So this was just made with things that I had already in my craft room. Then I did need some crayons. I know kids have crayons, but I thought it'd be nice to put in the bag. Now, I did buy these from Amazon. They're just a mini crayon. You can see there's 4 in a set, and it was already prepackaged for me. I got 50 of these for less than $13, and I am an Amazon Prime member, so I didn't have to pay for shipping. These in bulk, and I may go ahead, I've printed out 30 sets, so I may go ahead and do 20 more to use up all the crayons. So I am including that in the bag. And then on the bag outside, I'm going to put in one of these little wreaths. Of course, it's holiday themed, and it is something I already had in my craft room, and I got it from Hobby Lobby during their Christmas time. And then what I also did was made a topper for the top of my cellophane bag. And I did have cellophane bags in my stash already, and I'll talk about the topper in a minute. But I have these 9 by 12 cellophane bags because these are a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and they fit in here perfectly. So I've got my cellophane bag, I've got my coloring sheets, my bookmark, my crayon, and my wreath, and my topper. Now, the only other thing that I thought I would use is some paper that you put into the packaging. I'm going to put this in the bottom of the bag to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. And then I just have some basic tools. So I've got a burnishing tool here. It's a paddle instead of a bone folder that you can crease your topper. And I made the topper in Canva. I have a stapler to attach that. And then I just have some baker's twine that I have in the holiday colors for Christmas, and I had this already in my stash, and then some double-sided tape, and I'll show you how I use these in a minute. But the first step is to consider the visual appeal, and that's why I went with these cellophane bags, is because everything the child can see and parent can see everything that's in the bag. The vendor market is going to be outside, and it could be inclement weather. It could be dusty. I'm here in the South. We don't get snow. And so November, it could be a nice sunny day. Who knows? But there are going to be food trucks there too. So I wanted to protect the items, but give the children a look inside to see what they're getting. So with this bag, I want the tab that has the film with the sticky part on it. I want it to be down and fold behind, so it gives a clear window of the items that are going to be in here. So my thought is I'm going to put the bigger items in first. So let me get 3 sheets. I've collated these already. And I'm going to be putting them in, sliding them in so that fold will go to the back of the pages, and then it gives a clear window, and I think that just looks better and more professional. That just appeals to my senses. That's my opinion. So then what I want to do is I'm going to put the crayons in, because that's kind of a heavier item. So that's the way that's going to look. Now what I want to do is just to do a little pinch of these paper shreds. And these are my brand colors. So I didn't go with the red and white traditional. My colors, my main colors are pink and sort of a sage green. And I decided to put these in the bottom of the bag to kind of cushion the crayons, and also just to give it a little flair, I guess. Tell me what you think. Do you think this is worth it? So I was going to put this in the bottom, and I wanted something that wouldn't be too hard for the adult that's with the child to clean up. I thought about putting confetti or something like that in, but I did not need that adult to be fussing because they had to get the vacuum out. So I went with the paper shreds, and I'm just doing a pinch. So now I'm going to put the bookmark on top of that so that it kind of peeks out from the front. And I can kind of tuck him into the corner over here. So those are the items that are going in the bag itself. So let me turn this over, and we'll put our topper on in just a sec. Let me get this down. And I'm going to fold this up. Got to remove this little piece of film here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to barely fold that in till it's completely folded. Now I'm going to push this down, because what I want is I want this space at the top so that I can staple my topper to the top of the bag. So you can see this is how my package looks currently, but I like that okay. So now let's look at my topper. So I went on this platform, YouTube, and looked about different ways to promote a business. And of course, I've got postcards that have all my social media that I send out with to my customers, and I also have business cards, and those will be with me in my tent. That's no problem. But I thought if I had that in the goodie bag, those are going to get tossed pretty quickly. And I wanted something that would promote my business that wouldn't be tossed immediately, and that would make a statement. So this is what I came up with. So I went in Canva, and I've made these so that these are 4 by 9. So they're just going to go right across the top of my bag. I'm not going to make it any wider than the bag. And on the front, I've got includes coloring sheets, crayons, and bookmark. So I've put on there what is in there so that there's not any small components or anything. And then on the back, I've got my social media QR code here and this one is for Instagram. I've got my business name here, my logo, our location, and my website and my Etsy store. So I've got this right on the bag. Now, so I'm putting this at the top, and you can see that I have used this twine, this baker's twine that has the Christmas colors. And I used some double-sided tape to tape these two components, the wreath and the twine, to the back of this front panel. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on and raise it up just a little bit, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to staple the coloring sheets. So I'm going to staple up here toward the top. And since it's a larger bag, I'm going to staple 2 times. If it's smaller, you could staple just once in the middle, I think. But here we've got our goodie bag. And I think that the best single trick that I found in this process is made this myself and printed this myself. And I think it's worth the time and effort to get this on your bag. In this, don't forget to be resourceful. The spirit of this project is DIY, something that can promote you but comes from your heart and is a gift for the kiddos. And I think leaning into that authenticity is powerful. So the fact that you made the contents and assembled these yourself is what separates you from big corporations and builds a genuine connection with your community or with your family or whoever you're gifting this to. And it's a fantastic way to operate a business with heart while making something totally new and beautiful. So before we wrap up, if you're finding these ideas helpful or you want to see what I'm into next, y'all, just saying. And if you're inspired to give back to your own community, do me a quick favor, that like button down below. And if it really does help my channel out more than you know, and if you want more ideas for the small business, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything. I would absolutely love to see what you create. So tell me in the comments what you're putting in to maybe community bags or something you're making this year that you're going to be giving out, whether it's just the family or if it's your community. So really, in just a few simple steps, we went from a pile of cellophane bags and homemade goodies to a gorgeous, professionally branded goodie bag that's perfect for connecting with my community. So if just look at kind of what the difference, the before and after, because on the one hand, I have simple treats, but on the other hand, a whole collection of unique, beautiful gifts that represents me and my business. So thank you so much for joining me and coming along on my journey. And I'll just end with saying happy holidays, early happy holidays, and happy giving.